Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is not Mini Terrain Domain. This is Erasmus Expeditions. In fact, this is the Erasmus Expeditions Extravaganza, and I'm excited to get to show my face. I've been behind the scenes for the last couple of games, running the production. And we'll be doing so for the third game, so stick around after our game. There's one more game coming up an hour after our game ends, to wrap up this whole extravaganza. But super excited to be here, both in terms of producing and running a game here this afternoon. This is an amazing accomplishment. I was curious and was looking some numbers up during the last game. In these 10 years that Jeremy's been running games on this channel, he has 423 videos on his YouTube channel, with a large number of those being dedicated to games and in campaigns, short form, long form, one shots, or what he calls scatter shots, multiple expedition engine games, 37 playlists that covers crafting videos, that covers showing stuff off, podcasts, years worth of incredible podcasts, with various co-hosts and numerous guests. In fact, Zach and I were guests on there a couple years ago, as a sort of a unique that thing that we're a father and son team in the same sharing the same community and a lot of the same games and stuff, but also many of us participating this weekend and watching in the audience that have been a part of these games and campaigns. Some of my most memorable campaigns and campaign moments have taken place right here on Erasmus Expeditions. I have, though a couple thousand miles or more than 1,000 miles separate us geographically, Jeremy and I have had the pleasure to meet face to face on more than one occasion, and face to face, I mean literally cheek to cheek, is one of the first things we do, is make sure we get a big old bear hug in there. So I'm extremely honored to be running a game as a participant here in this extravaganza, but also to represent Mini Terrain Domain, and behind the scenes just keep the production running. Shout out to Dwight, the other half of MTD, who is, while running around with kids and sports and a homecoming weekend, is also in the chat giving away some stuff from our incredible sponsors, who I would like to thank right now. Absolute Tabletop. That is not the right note. I was going to say milk, bread, cheese. Absolute Tabletop, Buckstar Games, Mythic, Gazetteer, and Nerdarchy. We've been giving away things that they have donated, such as game PDFs and discounts and things like that. So stay tuned in the chat for when those come up. I think every hour we're giving something away. There'll be a code word in the chat, and then you'll have an opportunity to win whatever that is. Okay. I've talked enough as game host. I'm going to turn it over to my players here. I would like each of you to introduce yourself. Tell us where we can find you, but save your character introductions. We're going to do those in a few moments in game. Let us start with Kenya.
I see Jeremy did this on purpose. This is happens to me on a monthly basis on Jeremy's lovely channel here, as he likes to throw me in this corner spot right here. So I have to talk before everybody else. So thanks, Jeremy. Love you, buddy.
I did that by coincidence.
Oh,
it was pure coincidence.
You should have just let me blame Jeremy.
Jeremy was already washing his hands of that in the side chat.
My name is Kenya. you can find me on Jeremy's channel. I have kind of pulled back from the interwebs as so many have, but I am still here on this channel once a month and then on various one-shots that happen to come up, or little mini 3-session campaigns and stuff. I'm very excited to be here. Very, very honored. Um, Jeremy has a unique DMing style that I always cherish when I'm on this channel, and I have only gotten to play under Jake here 3 times in the past, so I'm excited to be back in the saddle over here and ready to do some pirating. It's gonna be a good time. I'm super excited, and I will pass it back.
All right, Mike.
My name is Michael. Mike, you cannot find me anywhere. I do not do a lot of social media anything. The only place you can find me is at Erasmus Expeditions whenever he is kind enough to invite me to go do something. And I'm in one of the very first videos of his campaign or his playlists. I've known him since I was a wee lad. I live 100 yards away from him. We've been friends since high school for me. I grew up, he was a big influence on how I became who I am. And I love you, brother. Thank you very much. Jake, I'm excited to get to play underneath you. I have known you and seen you for a very long time, and this is a pleasure. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Excited to run this game for you. This guy below me, Zach.
Hi. I am Zach. I am son of Jake, heir to MTD. The Empire will one day be mine. But in the meantime, I'm just kicking around here, playing games every once in a while. I'm also I'm not super into the RPG scene. I'm more into the game dev scene. I've got an indie game company now, and we're making a video game. It's called Hive Mind Labs. You could look us up. But otherwise, yeah, I've known my dad for a very long time, and we've played many games together. So I'm always happy to be here, and I am so happy to be a part of this awesome event. Jeremy is one of the best doing it. Games I play with Jeremy, I remember more than any other game. And it's just such an honor to be a part of this. So I'm excited to be a pirate. Yarr.
Arr. Alan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alan, and I enjoy long walks on the beach, a good sea shanty now and then. No, I've worked with Jeremy on several games in the past. I've played in a couple of Jake's games, and I'm happy to be part of this team on this pirate adventure. I'm happy to join in the celebration of the Erasmus Expeditions. It's such an honor to see all that history there and be a part of the celebration. And I mean, Jeremy, close friend, and glad to, just celebrate with you here. And Jake, happy to play in another one of your games. Always have a good time, and with everyone else here as well. So I'm excited to get ready to hit the seas.
And last but certainly not least, Jason.
Hello, hello. I am Jason Osorio, and as always, I am so happy to be back in the Erasmus Expeditions. Here's to another 10 years, Jeremy. This channel deserves all the accolades that's been given by my fellow players and our wonderful game master, who I've played with plenty, but I've never actually played adjacent to or under or over or whatever the term is. So I'm very excited to see how that goes. Yeah, who doesn't love a good pirate story? So I'm very excited to see this. I've never actually played the Expedition engine before, so I'm very curious to see how that works out. Yeah, I'm ready to kick things off. Maybe shoot a cannon or two. Who knows?
All right. Well, the wonderful thing about the Expedition engine that we are playing tonight, Black Hearts on Blue Seas, is that this is a very simple one-page RPG that has a very simple dice mechanic. We're not going to go into a lot of the details here, but the players understand how their stats work and when they're supposed to roll above and below. and we'll sort of explain as we go along. But I've also hacked it further by adding a few D6 tables that I'll be making the players roll on to determine some aspects of our adventure. But for now, who's ready to hit the high seas?
Yarr!
There we go. That wasn't rehearsed at all.
It really wasn't.
Here we go. The sea, she never sleeps. Endless and wild, she stretches from horizon to bloody horizon. Her skin glittering like cut glass under the sun. Her belly churning with secrets no mortal was meant to know. The wind tears across her back, owling through the rigging of 1,000 ghost ships long claimed by her depths. The ocean don't care who you are, captain or beggar, saint or scoundrel. She'll swallow you just the same. But today, she parts for one ship, cutting through the waves like a dagger through silk. The unsinkable two charges on, fast as a devil's whisper, and twice as cursed. Her hull groans with the weight of years and cannon fire, her timbers creaking like old bones. The paint's long faded, her sails are more patched than your nursemaid's clothes, yet she flies. Sweet stars above does she fly. Several great guns sit along her flanks, triple-barreled monsters that belch thunder and flame when called upon. A prize ship once, now a legend stitched together with tar, rope, and sheer bloody stubbornness. Her decks bustle with crew that's half mad and wholly loyal, each man and woman salt-stained and sunburnt, their laughter carried on the wind like a dare to the gods. Aye, the unsinkable too. She ain't what she once was, but she's got fight left in her still. She's the kind of ship that spits in the eye of a storm and dares it to hit harder. The kind that gets knocked down time and time again, but gets up back up every time grinning. And there she goes, tearing across the foam towards her next fortune. Her cannons gleaming, her flag snapping wild above her tattered sails. The sea growls low and dark beneath her keel, as if reminding her that no ship sails forever. But for now, the horizon's wide, the rum's strong, and the wind's at her back, and that, mates, is all a pirate ever needs. As we pan across the deck of the Unsinkable 2, cutting rapidly, almost like a gull in flight across these waves, we're going to move through to each of you, and I would like you to describe for me your character, and I'm going to ask you to tell me one thing that makes the Unsinkable 2, it gives her character. Why has she seen better days? And I'm going to randomly, so not to immediately put pressure on Kenya, but if a 1 comes up, sorry. Looks like it's Jason. We're going to start with you. Describe your, and then I'm going to ask you to throw it to the next person and on until we've introduced everybody.
It's going to you next, Kenya, just so you know.
I love it. I love it.
So my character, Dan Hawley, known by most as Pickled Dan, is a just mountain of a man, like Jake was describing, just leathery. It's hard to tell how old he is because of how suntanned this bear of a man is. Usually shirtless. He's got a big belly, but there's definitely some muscle underneath all that padding. He's actually clean shaven, but he has these drooping dark mustaches that are a little charred at the ends, being the gunner of the Unsinkable 2. His head is shaved. He usually wears like red and white striped pirate pants, I guess. These big black leather boots. He has these 2 like hand cannons at his hips, and he just reeks of booze. I imagine he has like a tattoo on like his chest that says "Rum is love," and on the back he has another that says "Rum is life." And he is usually seen in the company of a capuchin monkey named Bottles, which is part of the reason why the Unsinkable 2 is probably not quite the ship it once was. The gunnery deck is just littered with empty bottles of rum and probably a fair amount of monkey feces. It is just disgusting. And yet Dan is able to maneuver along this deck to these, triple barreled cannons like a dancer almost when, he's in his drink. When he's sober, not so much. He usually bumps into things when he's sober. So I think that's part of the reason why the Unsinkable 2 is maybe not quite the ship she used to be, at least on the gunnery deck side of things. And I'm going to pass it on to Kenya.
As you're sitting here and looking in on this ship, you the camera will take you into the galley and to the food area, and you will see this relatively tall woman standing at about 3 feet 7 inches or so. For her deep gnome heritage, she is extremely tall, and she has this really beautiful kind of like purple skin that's got a little bit of wear to it, maybe making her seem a bit older than she actually is. Due to the sun exposure she gets out here on the seas, but she's got this kind of white hair that has strips that have been dyed red kind of going through it. And when asked, she'll tell you that it's because each one stands, each individual hair is an enemy that she has slewn in battle and then proceeded to dye that hair. And which is interesting because that's a lot of hair if you really think about it. But she's wearing this kind of bandana that wraps up around, keeps her like short, kind of curly hair back. It's about shoulder length. And she carries with her a trusty frying pan that she never leaves home without. And hanging at her hip is her prized meat cleaver that also is always in attendance with her. And I think the reason that the Unsinkable 2 in relation to our deep gnome chef here, who's, oh, I forgot to tell you her name. Her name is, in fact, Daisy Four-Teeth Hammett. Although when she smiles at you, you realize she has all her teeth. So what does that name mean? But anyways, the reason that the Unsinkable 2 here has seen better days in relation to, the kitchen area is there was at one point once on a trip, and it has never happened since, that Daisy fell very ill. She got sick and was kind of out for a couple days. And on the last day, as she was getting ready to come back, there was one of the greenhorns on the ship decided that he was going to go into the kitchen and just whip something up real quick for everyone. Well, that proceeded to cause a fire in her oven because he didn't understand how to vent it properly. And she is now in a weird way kind of proud of the fact that the Unsinkable 2 is the only ship that you can tell where the galley is from the outside of the ship because of the remnants of the black smoke that has seeped through and is now staining where her workstation is. And on that note, I am going to pass it over to Ike.
Oh, that's usually how Ike wakes up in the morning. Not exactly sure which ship he's on. Ike is, by all insistence, the captain. For some reason, people don't listen to him. I don't quite know why. Ike is kind of he's on the younger side. He is a bit green, and does not at all command respect. But somehow he found himself in possession of a ship. He does not know how to take care of it, and he scarcely knows how to do anything other than stand at the wheel and turn it and look dashing. He is known by a nickname that he does not quite like, called No Beard. Some people call him No Beard Scalder. The hair just hasn't come in yet. Give him a few years, he'll have a beard greater than Blackbeard, he insists. But in the meantime, he enjoys taking the pleasures of rum, having pickled Dan Holy around, has definitely helped out in that regard. Um, he is a bit, he has like long, kind of like uh, sun bleached blonde hair that is salted, and he does his best to keep in an orderly fashion, just so that the wind hits it right behind the helm. Um, Ike is not a good captain at all. He there's a reason that this is his second ship. We don't need to go into exactly what happened, but there was an unsinkable, and there's not anymore. But the unsinkable 2 is still seaworthy, I'm sure. These fine crew around me certainly have seen to that, I'm sure. Um, the sorry state of this ship is made quite apparent every morning when Ike stumbles out of bed from his quarters. The floorboards will give way in new places. He'll have to remember where there are holes in the deck and where he can not get his legs stuck again and lose another boot to the sea. There are just holes everywhere. It is not good. And no one seems to want to fix them. Ike's certainly not going to do it. That's not the captain's job. Of course not. That's not the captain's job. I don't know whose job that would be, but it's not the captain's job. So I'm going to drink instead. That is Ike's typical answer to problems. But yeah, that is Ike No Beard Scolder. And I think with the 50-50, we're going to toss it over to Mike.
So I am playing Jean Pepe Tito Philippe Esteban Yago del Mar, and he is the helmsman. He has a hook for a hand that he uses to steer the vessel. He is drunk probably 98% of the day. He is very, very sad that his best friend has been kidnapped, and his best friend being Jean Jean, the monkey, who is named after himself because they have a very similar look about them. They make the same face whenever they're drunk, so they go way back. He is, for all intents and purposes, a Spaniard human, and kind of just does everything by instinct. He has contributed to this ship being a little worse for wear because once, while in a battle, decided that he was going to cut between 2 small islands. And it was a little bit shallow. There was a reef, and so there are now a lot of scarred, like deep scars, on the bottom of the ship. Got rid of a lot of the barnacles, so that was kind of nice. But our bilge kind of leaks a little, and it's um, just one of those things that we put up with. And he answers to any of those names. So whatever you decide to call me at any moment, I will do my damnedest to pay attention to whatever name you say that is related to me, and I will chime in.
I believe that leaves you, Alan.
It does. Let's talk more haul. Easy at the helm, Mr. Delmar. We see Joran, the holdfast, the quartermaster of this ship. He is an older man in his 40s, maybe early 50s, barrel-chested, salt and peppered, face like a roadmap of age and weather. He wears simple clothes, canvas shirt, blue pants, knee-high leather boots, but keeps pretty tidy. He wears a broad boarding axe across his back, and he's got a pistol stuffed into his belt loop there. But he's a no-nonsense kind of guy. He likes to keep a tight ship, even one that's leaking from all sides. He's probably the only reason why this ship is still sailing at this point. Aside from that, as far as what the state of the ship is, I think one of the main things is the sails themselves. Once probably something to marvel at, and now patched with various pantaloons and other shirts The patchwork on here is multicolored and doesn't really go with anything on the ship. And in addition to that, the figurehead, which used to be a finely carved mermaid, is now looking more like that of a hagfish, weathered and worn and blasted to bits. So yeah. So and that would be probably the one thing that we took from Unsinkable.
Excellent. So now we have our pirate crew. You're already at sea. I would like one, based on just all of the lovely additions you all provided, regarding the state of the Unsinkable 2. Thanks to Pickled Dan, anytime anybody other than Pickled Dan is on the gun deck, you will have to roll grace for fast movement. Thanks to Ike Nobeard, anytime you are on the main deck of the ship, anytime you are moving quickly, you will have to roll grace, or you will pop a loose floorboard. I've made notes of the leaky bilge, the charred wood outside the galley, and the state of the figurehead. And we will figure out if and how those will come into play in the future fate of the ship. For now, since Ike Nobeard claims the title of captain, I would like him to roll the first die roll, being a D6. We are going to determine what kind of weather you are heading into.
Oh boy. I will use my heart die.
Drinking
And
weather.
Drinking weather.
It's drinking weather.
That's every weather. I rolled
It's
a
drink
6.
o'clock.
You rolled a 6?
Unless that's bad, in which case you misheard me.
That is amazing.
Awesome.
As the ship is cutting across the sea, and we've kind of been looking at it sort of from a low, like, water level profile when we were first introduced to her, and as we met the crew and the camera kind of moved all around and we see these different things, sort of ending with the quartermaster's description of the figurehead, we see sort of a close-up of the figurehead. Just, I imagine the close-up of the face, the one half of the face somehow manages to be perfect, but as the camera slightly shifts, that other half of the face is literally just splintered wood. There's bird droppings, probably because of the preponderance of monkeys on this ship. There's probably monkeys' feces, charred wood, peeled paint, but we've always been looking sort of from where the ship has come. And now the camera pans across the deck to Captain Ike Nobeard Scalder, and around over his shoulder, looking ahead. And it is not blue skies into which you sail, because you have rolled the Hurricane Maelstrom.
Oh, you're kidding!
Which is a deadly storm. The description I have is deadly storm with crushing waves, lightning, and whirlpools, high chance of shipwreck.
Looking more 25-75.
So, hey, it's been great running this adventure for you guys. We'll be ending
so
early
fast.
tonight.
I hope you guys have some backup
so-
content.
You are not yet into this storm, but you know, as you look towards the direction that you are traveling, you see the storms as you see in the distance where it is that you are heading. We are going to flashback. I would like 2 additional people who are not Zach to roll me D6s as we determine the name of the tavern in which we are flashing back to.
I got a 5.
Okay.
I got there's a 3.
Okay. Interesting. The tavern in which we have flashback to is the Jolly Mast. And if we were in an age of neon, I feel like the Jolly Mast would be a ship with one of its masts fully upright and then in stages dropping down and then doot 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 doot. If we were in the Neon Age, we are not. Instead, now there's just some poor sailor who's done some crude drawings that he holds up in front of the sign, or somebody's drawn on the sign the jolly mast, showing a mast that is instead drooping. Within the jolly mast, we of course see, we hear a variety of conversations that are taking place, conversations that are happening in hushed tones around tables, people leaning in close to one another, though that may not be as necessary because of the voluminous laughter that is also filling the place, fueled by drink, for the rum runs like water here. And there are, along the upper deck, there are a variety of people, men and women, that are waiting for whomever seeks whatever pleasures behind closed doors. There's music. A few random people have picked up their accordions, a piano, a fiddle, and there's sort of improvisational jam sessions taking place. The sound of coin clinking and angry yelling, along with the boisterous laughter, as various games of chance are taking place. And your crew is also in this place around a table, either in this case it's probably your last gathering before you head to sea in search of whatever wherever the wind takes you. You don't as yet have a specific mission, but I imagine most of you start to feel a little confined when you're not moving, when the deck's not moving up and down with the waves of the sea. Why don't we take a moment and I want to give you guys a chance here to talk amongst yourselves about what you think might be coming up ahead. What would this crew, the crew of the Unsinkable 2, be discussing as you have this final night in the Jolly Mast?
Yeah, I think Joran, he's got a stern. He's always got a stern. He's a salty guy, but he's got a stern look, and he's just sitting there, and he's like upright. He doesn't slouch, and he's just like, Captain, do you really think that we should be here when we're about to set sail in them at first light? I believe we should be getting the ship ready.
I mean, where else are we going to get the rum? You can't sail without rum.
Hear, hear, Captain. You hear that, Holdfast?
Hey.
That's why he's the captain. I think Dan is absolutely pointing at Bottles the monkey while he's trying to like pinpoint where Ike is. That's why he's the captain, and you're the Holdfast.
I am the captain. Me, right here, right
oh,
here.
that's
right
right.
here.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
That's
Mr. Holly, cheer is not a ration.
You're right. You can't ration cheer, Holdmast. So enjoy it while it lasts. Right? Look at Four Teeth. She's here. She's got all of her teeth. You know, I've been meaning to ask you about that actually, Cookie. Why Four Teeth?
I think it's because that's how many she has in her pocket.
Oh, is that true? You have teeth in your pocket. I think he kind of like leans forward, and like you being a gnome and him being this like big guy, he's kind of like leaning down, like you have 4 teeth in your pocket. 4 little teeth. Are they gold?
Could add some to my pocket if that's what you want.
No thanks. And he'll lean back.
I'll keep an eye out. Matt.
There's a lot of places to get teeth other than our own crew.
That's a good. See, listen to him hold mast. He's making these excellent points, Captain. You should do more of this while we're on the water. You're not usually this good when we're on the water.
I definitely am. No one listens when we're on the water.
Sure. He takes another drink.
Also takes a drink and just kind of resigns to the situation he's found himself in.
Captain, I've got those other shits over there out by the boat loading some more supplies and
No rum.
rations and no, I worry about things that aren't rum.
Oh,
Waste of worry, but
mm,
I suppose do what you will.
That's
And
fine. You
have-
don't have to eat.
it's true.
What do you mean?
You don't have to eat. Not
Well,
really.
you're there. You'll be cooking.
I mean, if it's a waste of words, then it must be a waste of everything. And I mean, you don't need to eat then, do you?
We do need to eat.
And what
No,
about
you don't need to eat.
the monkeys?
I'll
Need
still
to eat
feed
though.
these guys.
Bottles needs to eat, and
Well, I'm gonna feed
Es-
bottles because when I don't feed bottles,
Oh, it's bad. It's real bad. He gets in the gunpowder. It's a mess. Esteban knows what I'm talking about. He's got a, or no, you
Exactly.
had a monkey. Yeah. He knows what I'm talking about.
I think that's still a sore subject for him.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry
As he
about that,
starts to
Delmar.
weep.
Oh, I think Dan, like, just out of sympathy, just kind of like wraps an arm
Yes.
around, just starts crying too. He's like, "Oh, I know, it's
He
so
finishes
painful.
his
I can't
bottle.
imagine."
someday that
Mr.
monkey.
Holly, keep that damn monkey out of the hold.
I will do no such thing. He is an important part of this crew. I think he leans over. He's like, and honestly, he's a bit more useful on the water than the captain. Like, he's trying to whisper to Joran, but he's actually whispering to you, Ike.
Ike is just like, dude.
Joran,
I
you don't
think we
smell
could
as
do-
salty as you normally do. Anyway,
I
what?
think if
Sorry.
we stopped feeding the monkey,
Mhm.
we would stop having monkey shit all over the deck. And that, I think, would help us out a lot.
It adds character, though. You know, who wants a ship without character? You know, it'd be like a mug without rum.
We'd have to rename the poop deck if we got rid of the monkeys.
Delmar knows what he's talking about. Good on you, Delmar.
Let's not. Anyway, Captain, we're preparing, but yet you have yet to tell us where we're going.
Oh, where are we going? Yeah, it's a good
That
question.
is a good question.
As you say,
Give
that
me-
is a good question. That is a good point for the next thing to happen. The interruption, as it is.
The plot thickens.
As the front door to the tavern suddenly blows open, and as a precursor to the storm to come, though it is daytime, heading into it's late evening right now. There is a sudden crash of thunder and a flash of lightning, illuminating a silhouette of a sailor in the doorway. The music stops. The laughter and the clamor in the jolly mast comes to a screeching halt. And everybody turns to see the figure standing there as more lightning, and you see this figure is sodden, soaked wet, as they stumble in. That's real! It's really real! I seen it! I seen it with me own eye! And as he steps into the light of a lantern, you see that one eye is missing. Perhaps he had a patch, but that patch is gone. You see that he is, across his face are several fresh wounds, scratches, and bruising across his chest that you can see from the untied shirt that hangs open as he steps forward into the light and says, I seen it! The fortune's folly! Several murmurs around the place as he stumbles forward and he bangs into the edge of your table. sort of crashing between Scalder and Joran. And he looks right down into your grizzled face, Joran. And he sort of loosely grabs at your shirt. He says, I've seen it. I've seen it. And it took them all. Every last one of them but me. And he takes a big gasp and he falls backward, crashing on top of your table. Damp and unconscious or dead, you are uncertain.
I can't. Just
I'll put
jumps
my
back,
ear to his chest.
protecting the rum.
You're
Don't
protecting
worry.
the rum. What did you do, Joran?
I put my ear on his chest to see if I could hear his heart.
You lean down, placing your head next to this man's chest. You listen. What you hear is I would like you to make a test of grace or speed to see if you can dodge out of the way of what's about to happen.
Okay, let's see here.
Which will you be testing?
Alien.
I will do. I'm bad at both, but I'll do speed.
So this is a left-hand skill, which means you need to roll over. And how many dice are you rolling?
Well, let's see here. I am.
If you have anything that gives
Well, I
you
have the one. I think. I don't have anything particular, but I would say I am kind of with everything going on. I would be kind of more alert in a situation like this. So,
definitely. I'll let you roll 2d10s in this case.
Okay.
And so you're going to take. We're looking to see how many successes you get.
All right. So I have to roll over 7. So my first roll was a 10. I got another 10, so 2 10s. So I lucked out.
Okay, 2 successes means you do it well. Good job. You hear the sound that no heart should be making. And
Right.
Joran, you very quickly push away from the edge of the table as this entire man's body suddenly convulses upon the table. His eyes open as he's looking backwards at you now that you've pushed back, looking upward at you, and he goes, I know it's secret. It's his chest bursts open. And you see at first his literal heart explodes out of his chest and flops onto his belly. And it begins to skitter over and onto the table. As soon as it hits the table, you see that it no longer resembles a heart as it begins to take on a wood texture. And it moves across to one of the tankards sitting on the table. And it sits next to the tankard, kind of butts up against it, and you see that same metal appearance of this dented and dinged tankard sort of shift onto what was this man's heart as the heart suddenly and turns into a tankard. What do you guys do?
Daisy is in that kind of very calm manner that she has. She would like to pull out her meat cleaver and attempt to chop whatever is this man's heart in half.
Yeah, absolutely. This is I'm going to have you roll. Let's roll force on this one. Does that sound good? Unless you can make a case for a different skill.
No, force is good. Force is absolutely good. And I roll d10s for this, or yes. Yes, d10s. I have a question for you
Yes.
in regards to the damage for her meat cleaver. Would it be a D8 or a D10? Because I feel like as the cook, she would keep her meat cleaver very, very, like, pristine.
That die is not a damage die. It's basically
Right.
representing its overall health.
Okay.
Okay. So I
okay.
would say with you, especially you as the cook, I would say your cleaver's probably absolutely a 10.
Okay, great.
So what I'm
I
going
have
to
to roll
have you
under
do.
4s, so I did, and I got a 4, and my number is an 8.
Okay. So that is going to, one, you're going to succeed on that, but I would like you to roll your D10 usage die for your cleaver.
Okay.
And just let me know if you get a 1 or 2.
I did not.
So in the usage system, when you are using some of these key items, you'll roll that usage die that you've assigned. And if you get a 1 or 2, you downgrade your item.
Okay.
In this case, 4 teeth, you bring your cleaver down almost out of instinct.
Mhm.
And go ahead and describe how you cleave what appears to be a tankard, but is made of some kind of oozy biomass.
Daisy Fourteeth is kind of just watching this all go on, and she has this very kind of like unbothered personality. As the cook, she often has to deal with these fools being drunk as shit and begging her for extra servings and stuff, and none of it really bothers her, and she has her things, and she is comfortable in a kitchen and slicing meat like things in half. So she pulls out her meat cleaver, she kind of stands up on the chair, and just one smooth move grabs her meat cleaver that she lovingly refers to as sirloin slicer, and she takes it and she just wham right down in the middle of this thing as it's kind of starting to form this mug shape. And as it probably almost gets, it's probably like 80% done. No expression on her face whatsoever, just as if she were busy cutting up a big old pig under in the bottom of the ship and stuff, getting ready for dinner for somebody. She just kind of whacks it right through on that thing and then pulls it out and then like shakes off whatever weird ichor / blood whatever is on there.
Yeah, and there absolutely is this sort of gooey, oozy ichor, and you see for a moment this mostly formed tankard. It looks like Four Teeth just split it. And then both halves just go and turn into a oozy puddle on the table. I would like everybody here to roll your instinct, please. Instinct is a right-hand stat, which means you need to roll under your skill.
Oh.
Got a
Pass.
5 under 8, so pass.
I got a 10 over 9.
Oh!
Esteban!
How?
The way that I roll dice is awful.
5 under 6. So
Oh, for the course.
We got a 5 under 6, a 5 under 9. Was that, Jason?
5 under 8.
5 under 8.
I had a 4 under 8.
And Daisy.
Looks like a success.
Sorry, I got a success. I rolled a 4 under 9.
Okay, so I think what we're going to do is that first, I think we just see as this thing splits into ooze, just because I want to say this at least once, Sean, Pepe, Tito, Felipe, Esteban, Iago Del Mar is staring horrified at these oozy pieces and notices nothing else. Both Daisy and Ike, you notice that in one hand, this now dead sailor with his chest burst open, he is clutching a piece of parchment.
Oh. So there's this on Ike's face. He's kind of like stood up from the table at this point, like, what the? And he's kind of like watching this tankard melt into two pieces of goo. And then all of that horror is immediately replaced with, ooh, because he knows a piece of parchment's always a good thing to find. And he's just going to kind of like take a step towards the table and just grab that from the dead sailor, just like yank, and just kind of take a step over and just start reading it while all of that stuff happens back at the table. It's not really my problem anymore. I want to read the piece of parchment.
All right, as you are doing that, it is the quartermaster, Joran, and it is Pickled Dan who notice. Of course, you're in a tavern full of piratey folk, but there is somebody in particular that is paying very close attention. A rival captain and their crew. Now, before I tell you who this is, I need every single one of you and myself to roll a d6. And using tables, we are going to determine what ship they captain, who the captain is, and who their crew is.
Oh, baby.
So go ahead and drop your rolls in the side chat, and I will take them in the order in which I see them. So to start off with, the ship, I rolled a 4, so I'm going to use that. The ship is the Iron. And then the next roll is a 6. The Iron Reaver.
Ooh. That sounds worse than Unsinkable too, I gotta be honest.
Our
That's such a better
captain,
name.
our captain is we got a 6, 4, and a 3. So the captain is Isolda. Sharktooth.
Looks like it's going to be 5
Harrow.
teeth pretty soon.
It is Captain Isolda Sharktooth Harrow. And her crew, our last two numbers. Oh, I missed a 6. I will apply that elsewhere then. Oh, okay. I will switch that then. She is not Sharktooth. I misapplied a 6. She is the Red Widow.
That's worse.
Or is it better?
So she
I
is
know.
Captain Isolda the Red Widow Harrow. And then we have a 4, a 3, and a 5 that I'll be applying to the crew. Her crew is known as the Stormborn.
These guys are so cool.
They have all the aura points.
And they are ruthless and feared across the seas. So Captain Isolda, the Red Widow Harrow, and her crew, the Stormborn, of the Iron Reaver, have taken notice of this whole situation. And specifically, Joran and Pickled Dan, you both notice that they've taken interest, and you've noticed that your quote-unquote captain has taken a piece of parchment out of this man's hands. So before we get to the parchment, what, if anything, do you do to confront the crew and the captain, or what do you do in this situation?
I will first say, Mr. Del Mar, keep it in the hold, as I see him turn green at this sight, telling him not to throw up everywhere. And then I look over, and that's when I notice, and I say, not really like out loud, but just kind of under my breath, the Red Widow. Mr. Scalda, if you will, escort the captain back to the ship.
I need to make sense of this real quick, because might be a very interesting piece of paper.
Captain, I think you should review that in your quarters.
Oh, it's just a piece of paper. What, and he's kind of looking
Good God,
around.
man.
So I think with you hemming and hawing, this is that moment where you're trying, Joran, you're trying to tell him to get going. And as he's like standing there, you realize that behind him, the Stormborn are encircling, creating a half circle between him and all of you and the exit. As the Red Widow, she is 6 feet tall. She wears an appropriated naval military coat, but you can see where any time a cutlass, a dagger, or a musket ball has penetrated this coat, she has used gold thread to patch up wherever those wounds have come from.
Baller.
You see that she presumably gets her name from her flame red hair that hangs in thick, loose curls cascading over her shoulders. But the face that is framed by this hair is one that is of a fiercely determined and skilled captain whose reputation precedes her. She wears a tricorn hat, and she rests loosely her right arm across the end of her cutlass at her belt as she saunters over to you, Joran. It would seem that fate has decided to take a shit on your table.
Better than the monkeys.
You get a scattering of laughter from that.
It's lukewarm.
I think Dan was like going to, before like all the exploding like chest thing or stomach thing happened, he was like going to like rifle through this man's pockets. So he was kind of close when the explosion of guts happened. So I imagine like his front is just covered in gore. He clocks, even though he is drunk, these people kind of encircling poor Captain Ike. And he hears the Red Widow's voice, which I imagine he knows of her. She's obviously the leader of a rival crew. I think in a surprisingly fluid motion for such a large drunk man, he unholsters one of his hand cannons and points it directly at her face and just says, "People call me Pickle Dan. I'm a merry, mighty sailor man. I'm doing whatever a sailor can. Got no reason, got no plan. But if you get in my way, this will be your final day. Now step back, Captain."
Brilliant. I'm going to have you, by definition, whenever you do something risky, you're going to roll. I think pointing your gun in the rival captain's face is definitely risky. It is definitely not subtlety. I'm going to have you
maybe?
I'm going to have you roll either flair or intimidation, your choice.
I will be rolling intimidation.
And I'm going to say that just because of the pure ballsiness of this, I want you to roll 3d10.
Okay, good. 'Cause the first one was a failure.
One thing of note,
Mhm.
it is important if you roll exactly your number, so make sure you call that out.
Got it. Okay, so first was a 9 over 7, which is a failure, then a 5 under 7, and then a 4 under 7. So 2 successes, 1 failure.
And you were rolling intimidation?
Correct.
The Red Widow removes her hand from where it was resting over her cutlass. And she very slowly, almost as if it's almost like she's play acting the way she does this. She just puts her hands in the air and says, I, Pickled Ten, such a way with words. You know, if you ever grow tired of pointing that gun in my face, you want a little more excitement, you show up at the Iron Reaver and show me what else you're packing.
Mm.
She looks around. She goes, we'll let the crew of the Unsinkable 2 have this one, lads. She takes a step back, and you see as that circle starts to open up, and not a one of the Stormborn say a word, but to a man and woman, and weirdly, there's at least 2 that look like they're twin boy and girl, probably about 11 years old. Every one of them, nobody says a word, but they all are staring all of you down as they follow their captain's order and step back. Now I have a question for you, Captain Ike, as we're opening this piece of parchment. You did in fact open the parchment, yes?
I did.
Okay.
Yes. I'm so scared to say yes. There's this moment where the commotion kind of settles, and he kind of just sidles up beside Joran for a moment. It's like, is that the Red Widow? Anyway, so what's this?
And Joran, from your previous instinct roll, you notice an exchange between one of the Stormborn that was behind and closest to Skalder and the Red Widow. And it informs perhaps why she capitulated so easily, as it's clear that they got to look at what the captain's looking at. Captain Skalder, what you see on this piece of parchment is a map of a nearby group of islands known as the Tiger's Paw Archipelago. So named because on the maps it appears as a tiger's paw. A large central island with a few scattered pieces, but 4 main islands that would form each of the toes of the tiger. One of those toes is actually an island that has an inlet and has an atoll in the middle of it, so another body of water. There are channels that move in and around all of these islands. They're a close group of islands that are notoriously dangerous waters around this group of islands. But in that atoll, on the 3rd toe of this Tiger's Paw Archipelago, is a big old red X. And as you stand there looking at this piece of parchment, and we see your POV looking at this piece of parchment, we hear crash of thunder and lightning as the camera pans back, and we are on the deck of the Unsinkable 2 the next day. And the camera pans over, and probably about a mile or so off the starboard side, cutting through the water, not nearly as fast, but trying to catch the wind, we see the Iron Reaver, and standing on deck, whoever happens to be looking through a spyglass, you see the very clear, like flames blowing in the wind, red hair of the Red Widow, as they are also racing towards the Tiger's Paw Archipelago. I would like somebody to roll me a d6.
6.
1.
A 1 and a 6, I heard. Let
None of
me
those are gonna be good.
go to my hazards table.
Oh, last time a 6 was a deadly hurricane.
So since I heard both a 1 and a 6, I'm just going to have both of these hazards go against you guys.
crap.
Yeah.
Double hazard, double hazard.
Now, keep in mind, the storm is still building ahead of you, the maelstrom. And you know that this weather is potentially going to be catastrophic because every time the thunder rolls across the waves and reaches you, you hear that deep bass thunder, but it seems to be also filled with a sort of echoing roar that accompanies it. You can see in the distance the first of the islands that make up the Tiger's Paw Archipelago. And this is when you notice the first hazard. And for this hazard, you will be competing against the Iron Reaver. As
Whoa.
you notice that there is lots of flotsam and jetsam in the waves. At first, it's a few pieces of wood, a few torn scraps of fabric. And very quickly, especially for the Unsinkable 2, so fast that she is, you realize you are quickly sailing into a massive debris field of more than one wrecked ship. I would like you as a crew to start working to figure out how you are going to navigate this wreckage. And I would like each person, each one of you, to take some sort of action to assist in the overall attempt.
Pepe, out of pure instinct, is just going to hard starboard. Just for no reason.
Just
Amazing.
Real quick.
Since you have helmsman in your style, helmsman is your
Here's my
style.
role. So
Yeah. Since you have that, I'm going to give you an extra D10. And because you just did it out of pure instinct, without even thinking, we'll throw another D10 on there. We'll have you roll 3 D10.
6, 10, 7, under 9. So two success.
So we've got 2 successes. Okay, who's next? Reacting to the fact that very suddenly your ship has turned hard to starboard, to the right for you landlubbers.
Yeah, I think as the quartermaster responsible for giving commands, Jordan will yell out, "Secure the ropes, clear the deck. The sea and the bastards both want blood tonight." And that's just getting the ship ready. And I'll even add on there, "Mr. Holly, ready the cannons."
All right, so what would this be? Control? No. This feels like a charm thing. You're using, unless you have a skill that's better that you would like to throw on that.
No, I think charm or intimidation. Being salty, I'm probably more intimidating.
Yeah,
than
that
charm.
makes sense. That makes sense. And you're acting quickly. So I'm gonna have you. I'm gonna have you roll. I'm gonna have everybody on this initial check. You're all gonna be rolling 3d10. So go ahead and roll 3d10 and see what you got.
8 over 7.
Also, while
8
he's
over
doing
7
that,
again.
Mike,
10 over 7.
Delmar, given the nature of the ship, she's seen better days, and you're using the wheel, I'm going to have you roll an item usage die on the ship's wheel.
Okay. What is it currently set to?
I'm going to say that the ship's wheel is an 8.
6 and 8.
That could
And
be
you need to
worse.
know if I roll a 1 or a 2.
I just need to know if you roll a 1 or a 2.
7.
Oh,
Ooh.
The wheel holds steady. 3 successes from Joran. That is a
Cool.
critical success.
Yes.
So that's going to be a critical success is an extra effect that you get. Here's what I'm going to say your extra effect is, Joran. Because of the working so well under pressure and knowing this crew, if anybody else has one of their die that fails, once you can have somebody re-roll that die. We'll do that.
Nice. Mastery.
So, yeah, you are on top of it. You instinctively grab hold of a rope and brace yourself as Delmar throws the wheel into a hard turn. About as hard a turn as you could make without doing a bootstrap turn, dropping anchor and turning in place. Who's next?
I think Dan will go next. I think Dan has actually been thinking during this voyage about Isolde's kind of offer back at the Jolly Mast. But I think in this moment when he hears Joran's cry kind of cutting through the worsening storm around us, I think it's instinct. I think he just starts loading up the cannons, getting all of the barrels ready to fire, and then he just roars out over the wind. He says, "Sing your song, my sons and my daughters! Send those bastards down into the churning black waters!" And I think we hear like Bottles kind of like clapping his hands and like chirruping on his shoulder. Yeah, I think he's going to prepare the cannons, and I think he's going to aim for kind of the fiery red hair of Captain Harrow. Purge the demons.
So you're going to fire the cannons at the Iron Reaver.
Absolutely.
Okay. That sounds great.
And I
Absolutely.
imagine with the list of the hard to starboard, you've got a little extra range right now.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, she was off your starboard.
Touche.
So you're going to be getting this
Get
shot.
nice and close.
You're basically going to be trying to get this shot off before the ship cuts hard, but you're also noticing as you're looking at your target that they too are trying to navigate these debris-filled waters. So I'm going to have you're going to be attempting to make this before the turn happens.
Makes sense.
If you fail, then your shot goes off afterwards. If you succeed, you get your shot off. And if you critically succeed, I've got an idea. So let's see what you get.
What are you thinking as far as the stat roll or the stat to roll?
Well, what are you thinking? This is your area of expertise.
I could see maybe force or control, maybe one of those two.
Whichever one you feel. I agree with those. Force and control.
Okay. I will do force.
You're going to roll 3d10.
3d10. Got it. Did I lose my d10? Where'd my d10 go? Anyway, let's use this. Okay. Okay, so I got 2 7s under 9, and then I got 1 9.
So 2 successes.
Correct. And then one that's on my number.
Joran, do you want to turn that other success fail into a success, or do you want to save that?
No, let's go ahead and rock the Iron Reaver. So
you're going to turn that into a critical success.
Hey, perfect.
Excellent use of that.
Thanks, Holdmast. Haha.
So tell me, Pickle Dan, how many cannons are you firing? Each one of them being a triple cannon, so each cannon's firing 3 cannonballs.
I think Dan, because he's been sort of grappling with this idea of being one of the Stormborn and being on the Iron Reaver with Captain Isolde, potentially, I think he's firing them all. He's like, nope, I'm going to purge these thoughts with gunpowder and booze. Let's just do this, just one right after the other, just boom, 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 boom down the line. He loves it in this gunnery deck. Like,
So,
this
yeah,
is what
you're-
he lives for. Yeah.
I imagine this being you and Bottles working together. You've got
Good boy.
the guns loaded, and you've got the I cannot think of what it's called, but the wick, the taper, whatever it's called,
Yeah,
that you use
fuse or taper.
to light, and Bottles comes running for, like, instinctively goes to the other end of the gun deck and is jumping from just because it sounds funny, I'm going to say that Bottles smoking a cigar and using
Absolutely. That's my boy.
Bottles leaps across the back end of these cannons all the way down to the end, and with your command, as you start to light that first cannon, so instead of seeing a row of cannons going in one way, what
It's
we
like
see
coming
is
together.
from stern and bow, the cannons going, and I'm just going to say there's 6 guns on
Dope.
on a side, so 18 shots that you're firing off, and as you fire, it gets to those middle 2, and that's when the camera goes with the cannonballs and goes hurtling out across the water, and we get our first good look at the Iron Reaver up close as cannonballs are approaching. This is a ship that is not built for speed, it is built for power. And that's also why this hard starboard turn worked, is because she was behind you a little bit. So you were able to mid-turn sort of just sight her, take that opportunity. And so you're coming in sort of from her port bow at an oblique angle. Cannonballs flying with such force that as the waves are hurtling up and there's pieces of debris, a couple of the cannonballs shatter through barrels and crates and pieces of driftwood. One portion of a mast bobbing in the water with a crow's nest in it, with a half-decayed skeletal pirate still clinging to it. Its jaw dropped as if looking in horror at these cannonballs, before suddenly the skeleton just shatters as they go flying, and we see this ship. It's got one of those off the bow. It kind of comes out in front of the ship about a good 18 feet, an extension on the bow. All across her hull are patches of metal to reinforce the hull. It's where she gets the name the Iron Reaver. And these 18 shots, as a few of them through attrition hitting debris get lost, a couple shots hit and spark off of the iron, the steel plating on the side of the hull. But several shots go through the railing, cutting across the deck. We see 2 or 3 trenches carved in the decking of the ship, with some of the Stormborn in their wake. You just see an arc here and a geyser there of blood as limbs are separated, as several of the Stormborn are cut down. The Red Widow, she stands firm in her place as around her crew and pieces of the deck get shattered, and several of these cannonballs they penetrate the hull, cutting through the ship, as you have done a fair amount of damage to the crew and the ship of your rival crew with that. We come back to the Unsinkable 2. We still got a couple, we got the cook and the captain.
Daisy is she's tall for her people, but she's not the tallest and the strongest person on the ship. So when it comes down to it, what she knows she's good at in these situations is making everybody a spot of tea. No, I'm just kidding. She's she, as Joran yells out these instructions about the sails and the ropes and the doing this and that and everything like that, she pulls out her frying pan and she starts to kind of run around the deck, and she does two things with this frying pan. She First of all, there's one rope in particular that the thing that it's tied to kind of like sticks sometimes when they're trying to unravel it. And she knows exactly where, kind of jumping up, she takes her pan and she hits this thing and it loosens it to like spin it so that the sails can go where they need to go a lot easier, to be more, the ship can be more like limber as it goes through the water. The second thing she does is she knows that there's a couple of our anonymous crew members that are here with us that are kind of slackers and don't really get their shit in order unless you really give them something to worry about. So she takes her frying pan over and she basically basically kind of smacks a couple of the sailors on the ass to try to get them moving. So it's, I'm thinking force, but it depends on how you want to do it.
I like it.
Okay, so that's what she does. She kind of just basically backs up everything going on. So that is a 5 and a 5 and another 5. No, that's a 7. Sorry, I'm not reading right. Yeah, that's a 7. My die is weird. And that is on force. That's under an 8.
So that is 3 successes, another critical
Critical.
success. I think in this case, we are seeing Four Teeth is I think what it is, Daisy, is that you feed the crew. And they know if anything happens to you that they don't get fed. And so if you're telling them to do something, and also if you're on deck barking orders and backing up Joran, things are bad. And I kind of imagine that in the midst of this, as debris is flying, and in some cases, some of the crew that initially weren't braced for Del Mar's sudden maneuver, they kind of go flying across the deck. You also realize, though they don't have a lot of force behind them, some of the crew are firing muskets from the Iron Reaver. And there's at least a couple points where, as you're barking orders and you've got this pan, you indicate, and all of a sudden, pating, and it just happens that as you are pointing, it's almost like you're intentionally deflecting musket balls.
Yes.
As you contribute phenomenally to the success. Right now, we've got 1 regular success and 3 critical successes navigating this field as Del Mar rights the ship and kind of gets things back underway. We have 1 final check from Ike No Beard Scalder.
Yes. As the ship turns starboard, Ike was already leaping up, and as the ship turns, he jumps and catches onto the ropes where he likes to hang from. He so much just happened. Sorry, I had a great idea, and then just all this awesome stuff. It's just so good. It's so cool. Ike is up on the ropes as the ship is steering through this mess of debris, the storm coming on, the cannons firing off. And he is got his pistol in hand and is taking aim and firing shots, so like distracted between the rival crew and then thinking he can do something about the flotsam and jetsam in the way and trying to blast that out of the way. And as the ship turns, he notices we definitely avoid a big just chunk of ship. And as we turn, he says, "Yes, Pepe, yes! Now the other way! Now, what is it, left? Now go left! Now, yes!"
I come
Fire.
to the port side.
Yes, to port side. Yes, exactly that. Pickle Dan, ready the cannons on port side for another volley. Yes. And he's
I could use a bottle of port, all right.
Yes! You see Ike up on the ropes between shots, has his arm like wrapped around and has got a bottle of rum that he's just like,
I feel, unless you're thinking something else, this feels like a flare roll.
This is Flare City.
And while you're
Yes.
rolling flare, I need Pickled Dan. I forgot to do this. We've established there's 6 guns.
Mhm.
Also, because you established in the intro of your character the state of the poop deck, I'm going to say that the cannons are at a usage die of D6.
Okay.
I need you to roll 6 D6s
Oh gosh.
and tell me if any of them land on a 1 or a 2.
Oh no. All right.
Best of luck, sir.
That's 3 successes, a 6, a 4, and an 8. I'm rocking a 9 flare. This is my jam.
All right.
I got 2 1s, Jake,
Okay.
on those 6s.
So- So 2 of your cannons, we'll say the first, the bow cannon, the most forward cannon and the most rear cannon of the 6 are downgraded to a D4,
Okay.
which means if those 2 are potentially going to stop working. A critical success on the flare from your captain means using the way you described it. And what's happened is at a certain point, I imagine we sort of zoom up to like a top-down view of this area of the sea as we see these 2 ships cutting through, and the crew of the Reavers having to do the same thing. The primary crew, their quartermaster and their helmsman are also trying to make maneuvers. And what's happening is the 2 ships are somehow maneuvering fairly that much closer together, so that you're probably you're close enough that you can see the whites of their eyes. You're not right on top of each other. But Scalder, as you described, that you've got your pistols in hand and you're firing a couple shots. You, with that critical success, at one point, you fire into a piece of debris that, let's face it, this is pure chance that this happened, but this is a part of your flare. As a wave lifted up a piece of a ship's cargo hold, we see, just sort of spotlighted there for a moment, the barrel with the red paint and the 3 X's on it, as you fire a shot right into a boom barrel that explodes across the port bow of the Iron Reaver. You actually see a piece of the steel plating on that part of the bow peels back, cuts across the deck, and cuts 3 crewmen in half.
Oh, shit.
And
Yeah.
you... the 2 ships at this point sort of settle in as you come out of the debris field, closer to the storm, closer to the archipelago. The second hazard appears.
Oh, no.
As between these 2 ships, the sea begins to roil and bubble. And you hear that distant thunder, and you hear... and you watch as a ship of bone rises out of the sea
What?
between both of your ships, crewed by skeletons. And as the ship rises up, it's not even out of the sea. Pickled Dan, you see through the gun ports as all along its side,
No.
bone cannons emerge. And that is where we are going to take a break.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're so boned.
We're so boned.
So,
Nailed it. Nailed it.
first of all, I hope you guys are having fun. I'm having a blast
Hell
with this.
yes. Hell yes.
We're gonna take about a 10-minute break. For the audience and for you, the players here, we are going to see a brief tribute video that lasts about 3 minutes. and then we'll take the remainder of our break. It's we'll say by 6:40 Eastern time, so make your adjustments as you need to. We'll be back here ready to go. So with that, we're going to go ahead, watch a video, and take a break.
Before we start, I want to go ahead and give the same warning that I give on the beginning of all of my games.
Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, welcome to our game today. One of many that are being a part of Brigade Con 2015. Today we're going to be playing, and we are now live.
If foul language and mature subject matter are a problem for you, then this is not a place for you to spend time. Hello everybody who may be watching now, even perhaps later. Welcome. If that kind of smut bothers you, then exit stage left. If not, then welcome. From the bottom of my heart, I love the fact that there are people that find something of value here on the channel, whether it's entertainment or, you know, somewhat educational about, you know, a system or whatever reason that you have for hanging out here. It is deeply appreciated. Come back for more, because there's always crazy shit going on down here. God, I'm so excited. There's so much more that I have swimming around in my mind. Remember that kindness is a free action. It costs you absolutely nothing to be kind to someone. And especially in the world right now, we need about as much kindness as we could stand. You never have any idea what somebody may be going through. And if you can give kindness, which is something free that you can give someone, and it might make a difference in their life, then again, that's an easy trade. You don't lose anything by doing that. And again, incidentally, it's how we just so happen to change the world, is through interacting through kindness. It's the only guaranteed way that we can change the world. So, go out there and change the world. Again, unless they're Nazis, and then kick their teeth in. Until next time, may your dice roll high, and your snacks always be within reach.
And we're back. You all watch as between the Unsinkable 2 and the Reaver, a massive ghost ship made of bone, crewed by a skeleton crew, rises up, opening up all of its bone cannon ports. You immediately recognize this as the legendary Broken Tide, captained by none other than Roland the Butcher Erasmus. Crewed by an all-skeleton crew known as the Salt Rats, fiercely loyal to their captain. It is said that Captain Roland the Butcher Erasmus supplements his crew with sailors killed at sea. And you are now facing this challenge, as it is also between... it's going to be attacking on both sides, so the Reaver is also attempting to stave off attacks. What I'm going to say for this particular thing here is that because it was a 6 on the table of hazards, it has a challenge of 6. So each person that succeeds in some way of affecting this ship, avoiding an attack or whatever, will take 1 off of that challenge. Your goal is to get this down to a 0. And there is a chance that the Reaver crew, the Iron Reaver crew, will also lower that as well. So, crew of the Unsinkable 2. we're going to handle this sort of with a little sort of role play / mechanics. I want you guys to interact and figure out how you're going to deal with the bone ship, and then I'll interrupt with when I want you to make dice rolls. And Joran, you still have your you can still direct somebody at any point to turn a failure into a success. The deck is yours.
If possible, I want to try to put this skeleton ship in between us and the Iron Reaver.
It is already between the two of you.
So since we just turned hard to starboard and I was already turning port, I'm going to do that, and then try to ask Pickle Dan to move to the port side, to try to facilitate this next scene.
I think I can do that, Delmar. And he'll kind of like scuttle around, narrowly avoiding like piles of monkey shit and just like bottles that are empty and sliding around.
Remember when I said you were going to have to make a grace check whenever you move around?
I thought it was everyone you're correct.
That's
me.
Right. That's right.
It's
everybody
domain.
but you. This is your monkey shit.
This is my monkey shit.
Never mind. As you were.
Yeah, I think he will do that. Hearing Esteban's call, he will move towards the port cannons and try to get those up and running. Because I know you said the forward and the stern cannons were not doing so hot, so he'll focus on the other cannons.
Well, those were only on the starboard side. You've got a whole other set of guns on that are all at D6.
Guns.
I'm gonna keep them on the port.
You have a total.
Explosions.
You have 12 cannons with 36 total shots on this ship, not counting if you have any deck mounted, like railing mounted small cannons.
Fair.
No way we don't.
I think
That's how heavily armed the ship is.
I think as Dan goes to start lighting the kind of the fuses or the wicks for the portside cannons, he'll look to Bottles and say, "We really need to talk about your smoking problem, but we'll do that after this."
You look over at Bottles, and Bottles now has 2 cigars in his mouth.
Oh, Bottles! Don't you know smoking kills? He says as he takes a long pull from a bottle of rum. And you
just see both of the cigars, one in each corner of his monkey mouth, just go, and then he takes both cigars and lights 2 fuses.
Yes.
A single tear. I'm so proud. And he'll start lighting the other cannons.
Go ahead, and I'm going to have you. This is an area of expertise, acting on a command. You're going to roll 3 dice. Go ahead and hold those results.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you make a D8 usage die check on the helm there, Delmar, as you're making this turn.
Just to confirm, you said D8?
Yeah, I think that's what we established, was the helm was a D8.
A 3.
Okay. So the helm is holding up. More specifically, it's kind of like the helm / rudder that's holding up. Let's go ahead and have you make a I really want you to make a force check on this, because you're basically turning the wheel from one direction to the other, shifting this, making some pretty big navigational changes with this ship. So go ahead and make a 3 D10 check against force and hold those results for me. What about the other 3 of you?
I think Ike up on the ropes is
Let me interrupt you, Zach. I want to get before, just to kind of help you guys figure out what to do and enhance the challenge a little bit. And give you a little something more than just bone ship to react to. As the cannons are getting ready to fire and the ship is navigating wildly, you also notice that in addition to the row of bone cannons on the sides of this ship, you see that both on the bow, so at the forecastle, and sort of more midship, you see these big big bundle of bones that at first just looks like a pile of bones, and you realize as the skeleton crew they're sort of converging in two groups on these piles of bones, and you realize it's groups of skeletons are piling into two catapults, one aimed at the Iron Reaver and one aimed at your ship. And suddenly there's Captain Roland the Butcher Erasmus throws his cutlass down, and both catapults fire a half a dozen or more skeletons flying at each of your ships. So in addition to everything else that's happening, you now have waves of skeletons that are boarding your ship.
Oh, yes. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm battling skeletons. Yes. Ike is sliding down the rope, saber in hand now, and as these skeletons clamber into bony piles on the deck and reassemble, he is kind of just ready. Like, have at thee, bony dogs. Come on! Let us clear our decks and ready to sink the bone ship. Or we could take the bone ship. This one's pretty bad. Should we take the bone ship? What do we think?
Aye, but more blasting, less talking, I think, Captain.
That's a great idea! And he just starts cutting at bones.
Okay, so I'm going to have you make a swashbuckle check.
I have a stat just for that.
I'm thinking that's going to be either grace, flair, or speed.
I feel this is in line with the flair that I've been bringing to the deck of the Unsinkable 2 since its inception.
So go ahead and do that.
3 rolls.
3 rolls.
Okay.
What's Daisy doing? Hold on to those results.
I will.
Daisy is seeing the skeletons coming flying at the ship, and seeing our good friend Esteban who is trying to steer the ship for us.
Esteban is good enough, Mal.
Daisy, she's like, oh fuck, I've got you. And she runs over with her frying pan and her shield. Her frying pan, I forgot to tell you before, is lovingly named the Pan Hammer. And her shield is a giant pot lid that she uses to both cook and as a shield sometimes. And its name is Liddy Gaga.
Nice.
And so
names are incredible.
She's going to basically go over, and what she's going to do is she's actually going to defend our pilot here, so that he doesn't get fucked with by these skeletons.
Yeah.
So as they kind of come launching over, she's maybe going to use the shield to kind of knock their knees out and use her hammer on them, and she's just going to start kind of defending him from this stuff so he can concentrate on getting us the fuck out of here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and roll 3.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you roll.
Yeah.
After you roll your 3, I'm going to have you roll your usage die on both Panhammer
Okay.
and Lady Gaga.
Okay. Do you want me to keep all the results to the?
It looks like everybody's been putting them in the chat anyway.
Okay.
Which is fine. That way I can see where we're at.
Okay. Cool.
It's
I will
also
do that.
strategically letting you all go before Joran, so he can see if he needs to adjust any of your rolls.
Okay. Okay.
So Joran, what are you doing during this incursion?
Yeah, I think Joran, he's got his heavy boarding axe as he's swathing through skeletons, and he's gonna say 2 things. The first thing he's gonna say as he's cutting down some skeletons, he says, "Stow your fear and grab your steel. Neptune may send the waves, but we answer to no man." As he just watched a bunch of bones go over the side there. And then the second thing he yells is he'll yell down in an opening of the deck down to down the gun deck. "They don't bleed, but they still break. Aim for the mast. We'll sink their ship."
Good on you, Captain. I mean, wait, no. Hold mast. Yes, good on you, hold mast. Ha ha.
Now, hold on. I am the captain. Make no mistake of that.
I knew that. I definitely knew that.
What skill do you think would be appropriate there for you, Joran?
I guess I'll go with charm. I guess I'm trying to again install morale, but it's more from not from an intimidation.
Okay.
Right.
Lady Gaga and the Panhammer maintain their usage dies. And Jordan, since you're the last one of the crew, you can go ahead and tell me your results outright. And then we'll see where everybody else landed and how you fare in this overall challenge.
Charm. So I need to roll over. Which my charm is 7. So I got a 4, 6, 9. So I only got one.
One
success.
Success. So as it stands right now, you have, of the 5 of you, 3 crits. One of you had a double success. And you have a barely made it. You can change either of these rolls if you want.
I will change. Yeah, I'll change one of the either mine or the other to just bump it up.
So what that would actually be is, sorry, not change it, but you can re-roll one of yours, or you can have I believe it was Zach Scalder that had 2 successes. So you can either have him roll one more to see if he gets a crit, or you can re-roll one of yours.
I'll let him re-roll. I think he's got a better chance of getting the crit.
Okay.
So
Where's my D10? There we go. And it's an 8. That's a success.
Okay, that means you guys all together as a crew, you have scored 4 crits against the Broken Tide. And that means out of the challenge of 4, you had 2 or rather you knocked out, out of the challenge of 6, you took away 4 threat levels of that. The Iron Reaver took away 2 more. So between the 2 ships, you have eliminated this challenge. I would like you together as a crew to take narrative control of how you defeat the Broken Tide and Captain Roland's salt rat skeleton crew in this moment. Go ahead. You guys have full narrative control.
I think I want to give Jason there his due and let him go first with his cannons.
Sure.
Well, I guess. So yeah, I think as you know, as this ship sort of rose out of the water, I definitely think Dan had this moment of like, how drunk am I right now? But then when he saw the skeleton crew and everything, he's like, you know what? I got to lock in after hearing, Esteban's shout and feeling the ship lurch, as well as Joran's commands and everything else. I think he locks in and is just firing these cannons as quickly as he possibly can with bottles, of course. I imagine, kind of as you narrated before, Jake, we see maybe one of the middle cannons. We follow the ball as it punches through the side of the Broken Tide, maybe blasts through a couple of skeletons and erupts out the other side. Like, I imagine chunks of bone material just falling off of this thing as the ship is literally starting to fall apart underneath its crew, the Salt Rats and their dread captain.
Amazing. Somebody else pick up the thread.
I think Daisy is doing exactly what I said she was. She is defending Esteban as he's attacking, but it's kind of amazing to watch as she's doing this, because she is that whole whopping 3 feet 7 inches, but she is her years aboard this ship and the first unsinkable and ships prior to that, she's chopped up enough corpses of things that she has anatomy down, and she is just panhammering in all the right joints and like the weaker bones, and she's spotting where these things can be easily felled, and she's just doing that. And there's even probably one point where she jumps up on a crate and she kind of stands there, and right as one of the skeletons turns to go after Esteban, she takes her panhammer and she just wham, and she sends one of the skulls flying back towards the ship, and it like kind of lands back over on the other ship and just kind of rolls across the deck. And she's just in defending our pilot here as he's doing what needs to be done.
And as all of these skeletons are headed to Jean, Pepe takes off his hook hand and takes the cork from his rum barrel that's still stuck on the end of his hook hand off. He digs it into the wheel, to the helm, and takes it off of his arm and straps it onto the rigging to where he has set it true to straight. And then straps it on to like keep that heading, and then with his offhand he draws his saber to start helping Four Tooth to take on these skeletons, and he's goes into a fighting stance.
Captain Nobeard, as some of the last of these skeletons aboard our ship are crumbling to piles of bone meal, he catches glimpse as the bone zone ship begins to collapse in on itself and is rendered destroyed, and kind of stops fighting a skeleton for a moment, and it's just like, yes, sink ye bones into the ground, ye wretched Captain Erasmus are no match for the unsinkable two and its crew. And as he gets kind of caught up in that, I think the skeleton he was fighting has not stopped fighting him, and he gets kind of like a big bony club to the back of the head, and it's just like, oh, crap! And in a panic, takes his rum bottle and smashes it over the skeleton, knocking its skull off down the deck and probably tumbling through a hole already in the deck and down somewhere else to the gun deck or wherever. And then the panic sets in as he realizes, my rum! And now he's frantically searching for the nearest rum, and just like there's empty rum bottles everywhere, and he's like, nope. Where is all the rum? Where is all the rum? And so he is utterly distracted from everything now, trying to find a solid source of her own.
I think Joran is on the deck as like I said before, he's swathing through various skeletons. He's swinging his broad axe like a bat as he's just bones are just collapsing under these mighty swings, and one of them, just like the axe, just gets caught into the main mast there as he sticks one and like bashes the skeleton in two, and he grabs the skeleton by its arm and he rips that, and it's still holding its saber as he just kind of uses it to hit another one, and then as these cannons just from both ships just rip through the bone ship on either side of it as it begins to collapse and sink on itself, there's just like a handful of other skeletons still on the ship, and he just looks at them and says, "Get off my ship," and they just kind of just leap over the side back into the sea.
The last thing you see as the broken tide is sinking is you see Captain Roland the Butcher Erasmus never once leaving the deck. And as the ship begins to break apart and sink, he stands and salutes. And right before he goes under the waves, he turns and looks at you, Joran, and goes,
I knew it's coming.
gives you the big old bony middle finger. And that's the last thing that sinks Terminator style below the water. And for the moment, the sea's calm. There is no debris. The broken tide has disappeared below the waves. And you see now that the broken tide is no longer there. You see that the Iron Reaver is in bad shape. I would like... We're going to do something a little different because it's a MTD Jake game. I love my percentile dice. Usually what I do when there's a % chance of something happening, I have somebody roll a D100. I roll a D100 that sets the baseline, and if it's within that percentage, the thing happens. I am going to say that right now there is a 50% chance that the Iron Reaver is sinking. To make it even harder for them, I'm going to roll my D100, and I want all of you to roll a D100. Where's my other D10? No, there it is.
Ooh, what a number.
Oh, okay. I have the baseline, and just so you know, in terms of baseline, it rolls over at 100, so when we're factoring the difference. So what this means is if anybody rolls within 25 of the number that I rolled, then the Iron Reaver is sinking. So we got a 66 from Daisy, which on both sides is quite a ways outside of it. A 60 is also outside, so it's a 44 and a 53. But that 11, Sean, Pepe, Tito, Felipe, Esteban, Iago, Del Mar, I rolled a 7.
Oh, yes!
So what you see is, as you look over at the Iron Reaver, is you see that the entire port side of the ship, you see entire sets of planking missing, and at the waterline you see that iron plating has been peeled back. You see smoke and you see blood spilling down the sides of the ship, and she is taking on water fast. The crew that is surviving, they are quickly working to get the lifeboats that are remaining available, and the ship is close enough you can see as the Red Widow stands there looking in your direction, both her signature coat and her flame red hair blowing in the breeze as she scowls in your direction, and reluctantly you see her reach inside her jacket. She pulls out a pistol. She aims it at the sky. And she fires a distress flare. up into the air. She is officially calling for aid. It is up to you as a crew to decide. This is not a roll dice thing. This is up for you as a crew to decide if you want to save the Red Widow and the Stormborn as their ship sinks, or let Davy Jones claim them, or leave them, those that make it to the lifeboats, to their own devices.
Pickle Danny boy, what do you say?
Yeah, I think Dan will come up onto the deck just reeking of gunpowder with a bottle of rum in one hand and then like a mug of something in the other. He's going to put the bottle in your hand, Captain Ike, and then
Oh,
go ahead.
how convenient.
Yeah, and then he'll look to you, Esteban, and he'll say, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do think we should save them from the briny deep. That's my opinion. Mm.
That's
Dad, you have to think with more than
than
that.
just your timbers.
I am thinking with more than just my timbers. To be honest, it was Bottle's idea, and the monkey is just kind of like sitting and smoking on his shoulder.
He's got three cigars now.
Oh, where are you even getting these? He's the one that said that we should
Amazing.
do it, and I think we should. You know, we could use more competent crew members that Daisy doesn't have to beat half to death to get them to do anything.
Ike kind of looks up at the monkey and just like grabs a cigar, or attempts to grab a cigar, like, and kind of takes a pull on it, and it's just like, I don't believe it was a monkey's idea, first of all.
Well, are you calling me a liar, Captain? Those are fighting words, and I think he's completely facing Jor, and he's not even facing your direction. Those are fighting words. No beard. No beard.
He's just like, kind of like pokes you a little, like,
Oh, yes, thank you. No beard, fighting words. What I said. Yes.
I think we're a fine crew. I think we handle ourselves well, and I don't want to split the treasure with anybody else.
Well, who said anything about
They
splitting
don't
the
get a
treasure?
cut.
Right. They should be grateful that they're not being consigned to Davy Jones' locker. Captain.
Precisely.
You are consigning us to a headache in the future that I don't want to have.
Well, so drink more, and your headache will go away.
I'd have to side with the captain
Fair
on this
enough
one.
point.
The Red Widow would soon put us to the sword and take this ship, then join with us.
You don't
Then
know
we
that.
lock them in the brig.
Right.
Hey, we only sail by 2 rules on this ship: the word of the captain and what we can put in the hold.
So really
Let's-
only one rule. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly.
Even I am not even going to. You guys don't listen to me. Let's make that exactly clear.
Listen, we take your word under advisement. You know, it's more of like a
Or like
council.
guidelines.
Yes, exactly. It's more like
No council
guidelines
captains the
than
ship. It's
actual
my
rules.
ship. You're suitable to. I'm the captain.
Daisy, share with us your 4 teeth of wisdom in this situation, because these two, he'll point to No Beard and Holdmast, Half-Mast, whatever. These two are clearly
Clearly.
You're the half-mast.
out of their minds. We need more crew. We need
Completely
better
out of their
crew.
minds.
Look at that one. That crewman's literally cut in half. I imagine there's like a dead guy just like sprawled on the ground, just cut in half. We can't use him. What is he good for?
I think right as you're looking down saying that and you call it Daisy, she's just basically kind of pushing that body over the side of the boat, and it's like kind of like just kind of getting rid of it, and she looks up and there's just more mouths for me to have to feed.
Sure.
I know for one thing that fake red-headed bitch, she'd
Whoa.
let us die if she had the chance.
Aye, that's a good point.
But
Oh,
she
but-
doesn't
but
have the chance. It's our chance. So Daisy,
Is there a
4
butt?
teeth.
Is there a
Right.
butt coming, Daisy? Was there a butt after that? Or...
There's no-
Yeah, but
There's
Damn
no bone.
it!
You'd like there to be.
I would like there to be.
You just want
Goodness.
her butt. That's what it is.
no,
You just
we
want her
were
butt.
always after the booty. So the booty.
I mean, it's true.
Or Daisy.
Hey, the booty. That's
You want to let Poseidon hoard the butts?
Half
Come on.
Half of you can't even find the right end of a cannon, and those holes are huge, let
That
alone
is
the booty.
not true. You know that's not true. He says, pointing to to Pepe. That is not true, Daisy. You know, I could tell the front side of the cannon from the back side. There you are. Sorry, you're low to the
I
ground.
just pushes your hand until it's correctly
Thank
angled.
you. Thank you, No Beard.
It's a
It's hard to
miracle
keep
you hit
track of her.
anything.
She's very small.
I mean, if any of them come near my kitchen, I'll leave them with 4 teeth, just like the last shit that did.
No.
but-
No
Yeah,
one's coming near
yes!
any kitchen. We can't
Right.
take on more crew.
We can, because a lot of ours are dead. Let's be honest, cut up by the skeletons. You know, let's just bring a few of them on board. A few of them.
At least a couple. At least.
Think about it
And
this way.
Take on the crew. We're going to have to take on the Red Widow, and I don't want to deal with
Obviously.
her. She
Here's the
scares
thing.
me.
Captain,
Oh, why?
She's
A ship
gorgeous.
cannot have 2 captains.
Just
Captain,
stick a gun
The
in her
ship can
face.
barely have one captain. Let's face
The
it.
ship cannot have 3. I mean 2 captains.
let's tie her up. And if some weird mystical thing declares that there's a kraken between us and the island,
We
Oh,
throw
throw
over
him
the
at the
throw over
Kraken.
the other crew. Right?
Can you
Correct.
roll me a d6, please?
Oh no!
Why did you mention the Kraken? What have you done?
Oh, Daisy.
a 4.
Okay.
Oh.
We have 4 rounds until.
Amazing.
no.
I think
4 real life minutes.
according to the Council of Captains, 3 of us are on board for getting at least some of the crew from the Iron Reaver onto our ship. And hey, you know, and he'll kind of put an arm around your shoulder, Captain. Captain, we could always say there's a shipboarding tax. Any gold that they might have on their persons, any fine things they might have, maybe we relieve them of those things.
And they don't get a cut.
That
obviously.
too, obviously, until they prove themselves. You know, they're starting down in the
Exactly.
bilge. They have to ascend to our heights.
As your crew is arguing over the fate of the crew
They're
of
just slowly bloop, 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 bloop.
the crew.
Hey guys!
First of all, the crew was decimated. 90% of the crew was lost with the ship. You see literally one lifeboat with Captain Isolde the Red Widow Harrow and some maybe 8 to 10 of the Stormborn aboard, and they were paddling in your general direction.
Oh no.
And then they started moving back the way you came. But then they seemed to change their mind and start turning towards where their ship was. But no, wait, they're heading in the direction you're going. They're coming towards you. They're going back. They are starting to move in a circle in the water.
Oh shit!
As you, Kenya, rolled Charybdis, a living whirlpool with a hungry maw pulling ships down into darkness as the guardian of the deep. The living whirlpool is beginning to form off the starboard side of your ship, and you see as they are desperately fighting with oars to fight against this current. You see the sea begin to swirl more and more and faster, and that's when in the center of this whirlpool you see instead of tunnel down into darkness, you see a wide circular mouth full of multiple sets of razor sharp teeth moving in opposite directions. You watch as suddenly the Red Widow and the remaining Stormborn are pulled into the maw. Splinters, blood, and pieces of body going everywhere before it's all pulled in, and the whirlpool is getting bigger. What would you like to do?
I like to think that Ike didn't notice any of that as he's locked in hot debate with Dan. And
I really feel like it's Del Mar that probably noticed this.
Yeah, honestly.
as
Uh-huh.
the argument is getting to a point, and Ike finally relents and says, "All right, I suppose we could lend a hand." And he kind of turns to look over to where they were, and he goes, Actually, we should go that way. Quick!
Shit!
Full sails!
Daisy just go ahead.
That was it. Full sails. I don't know
Daisy
what else
just
follows
goes,
after
Full
that.
sales.
That problem solved. I'll be down in the kitchen. And she just walks down.
Such
I
a
would-
waste of booty!
I would
There'll
like
be more booty.
I would like Delmar to roll the D8 usage die on the helm and then on the sails.
God.
I rolled a
Ship is
1,
falling apart.
good sir.
The helm is now a D6.
Oh no.
As you several fibers of the way the ship's wheel works is it's basically this rope that's kind of wrapped around it so that as you turn it, you're working a pulley that's moving some things down below and then moves the rudder. Several pieces of that rope just go ping, 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 ping. So
So at this time, he will do the hook hand that he did earlier and try to support that as best he can.
all right, I want you to roll me a D8 usage die for the sails.
An 8, sir.
Okay, sails are holding fast as they are filling with wind, and you all, with the Charybdis being primarily satiated by the Red Widow and her crew, and you're quick acting and your ship holding, you are able to just skirt out of the grasp of this thing. It's a largely immobile creature forming in one place and staying there for a bit. But just so you know, Kraken was absolutely on the list. And so were several other mobile enemies. You got lucky with that in a way. For the next little bit, we see as you follow the map that Scalder holds, taken from the survivor is not the right word, but the individual whose chest exploded in front of you on the table. You make your way around the Tiger's Paw Archipelago, and you see that where these, for the most part, where the main island is, and these smaller islands that would be the toes of the tiger, they're relatively close together. And the way they run into the water, you find that only a central channel in between them is very deep. Fortunately, because of her speed, the Unsinkable 2's hull does not run very deep. It's a shallow hull. So you're not going to have to worry too much about that. But what we see is this sort of classic view of the Unsinkable 2 moving through now relatively still waters, but still approaching is this dangerous storm. The thunder is very frequent, lightning and dark clouds as a backdrop. As you navigate your way through these waters towards that second island from the east, towards the northwest, where you see the entryway into further into the island, completely navigable by your ship, though you see that the island itself, as part of this storm that's moving in, has become shrouded in fog. How would you like to approach the spot marked by X on your map?
Carefully.
Directly.
Drunkenly,
No.
obviously.
Drunkenly.
Carefully, directly, drunkenly.
Obviously.
Obvious.
4 Ds of sailing.
With
4
full
Ds of
bellies.
sailing.
With full bellies. Thanks, Daisy.
So you're going to sail right into this, where this
There's
is.
only one way forward.
Like, I mean, are
Works-
we close enough to get the ship, or do we have to anchor the ship and then row in with
Mm.
boats?
It's completely navigable by your ship, and the island and the atoll are large enough, though you can't fully see it, but based on the map, you could absolutely steer the ship into this area and anchor it while you figure out what is the where it is. I would actually like, at this point, though we probably should have done it a long time ago, at this point, I'm going to have you all roll your knowledge.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to say for knowledge, you're going to roll 1 die to start with, obviously. If legend lore is sort of your favored thing, then meaning something you pay particular attention to, then I'll let you roll another die on top of that. Pickle Dan is a fail. Joran's we'll come to Joran in a moment. Joran got exactly his stat, which is a 6 of 6. Delmar, that 1, is that a fail or a success? Well, it's obviously a fail. It's a 1.
I am a my knowledge
Oh, wait.
is my instinct is 9. So knowledge is, I don't know.
Knowledge is a 2. Is what you're saying?
I don't
No, it's
I don't
not.
fully know
Sorry.
how this works,
Nope,
so.
that's my bad. I'm screwing something up.
I'm pretty sure
Ignore
I
my
finally rolled
words.
good for the first time in my entire life.
For some reason on this roll, I completely forgot how the rules work.
It happens.
What I'm looking for is who got...
One isn't.
I'm looking for successes or crit successes is what I'm looking for. So just tell me that.
Did anyone even...
So it kind of feels like 1 is a crit success.
Well, I think for left
Well,
side skills, you'd have
yeah.
to roll over. So
Roll
what
Oh,
is?
no.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
then
So
maybe
yeah,
it's
that's where
maybe
it's
it's
definitely...
par for the course. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I think we all failed actually,
Well,
except for maybe Jordan.
Jordan got a
Maybe?
6 on the die on his 6 knowledge.
Yeah, my knowledge is 6, and I rolled a 6. So
I don't remember what that does in the beautiful and fantastic
It's a-
expedition
So it
That's
actually
how you
doesn't
get a black
clarify...
spot.
So it doesn't clarify if it's a success or a fail, but
spot?
you get a black spot, Joran, or rather, you don't get a black spot. You now can curse. The author is telling us it is not a success. What this rolling exactly means is you can curse any other player with a black spot. That means that on their next roll, they have to roll
It's fine.
1d less than they would normally.
I mean, I got to give it to No Beard for sure.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Me.
So now,
Very appropriate.
so
Of
now,
course.
so now the the result of this roll that you all failed means none of you actually truly knows what Fortune's Folly is. You
I heard
only
fortune.
know that it is a treasure. A dead man who is the only surviving member of the crew claims to have seen it, knows its secret, and had a map to it. You didn't have a mission. You saw a map with X marks the spot, and you said, "We're going to get that."
Classic
Dang
No Beard.
right.
Classic No Beard.
Classic.
That's
No Beard.
ours.
So as the ship sails in, you even momentarily lose sight of the darkened skies. So thick is the fog. I would like our helmsman to make a control check. And
Sago.
since you're the helmsman, I'm going to have you do 2d6 on this.
My control is a 6. I rolled a 3.
Success
7.
and a 7. So you have 1 die that's a success, which means you barely manage it perfect. The GM inflicts a complication, harm, or cost. I'm going to choose to complicate this a little bit. As you're navigating through this thick fog, you hear one of the last things you want to hear while navigating a ship through fog. And that is the sound of your ship grinding against another object.
That is fortunately something I'm very familiar with.
It wouldn't be an unsinkable voyage if it weren't for the sound of grinding hull against stone.
As you pull into this area on the on the port side, you hear and pieces of the railing, and you actually hear at this point this sort of heavy but almost hollow sounding sound of the yardarms and masts colliding with another set of yardarms and masts. As this close in the fog, you can see the outline of another ship that was anchored here in this atoll that you've pulled up close enough that you don't even need any kind of boarding gear. You can literally just step over the railing and climb onto this other ship. But with that, you were moving slow enough that the damage is primarily superficial, except that you are now entangled with this other ship, and you've come to a standstill. The thunder rumbles around you. The fog is thick and is now creating this sort of low visibility, so it makes it very eerie. The members of your own crew, and then you see this other ship, but you don't see any crew on deck of the ship. What would you like to do?
This is the perfect moment for Ike to see how we've kind of like merged almost to where our deck just kind of leads onto the other deck, and he's just kind of like, oh, seems convenient enough, and steps right off and just kind of, here we go. No thought put into any action.
Onto the unsinkable 3.
Pepe is going to call out, to the capstan, raise sails.
Another successful landing, Iago. Well done. We should follow No Beard. And Dan will start to kind of like lumber in the direction of where No Beard went. Come on, Bottles.
Bottles now has 4 cigars.
How does this keep happening? You were on my shoulder.
They're
the
more
whole
like
time.
cigarellos at this point.
Are they behind my ears?
Daisy comes back up on deck from underneath. You fools do realize that the treasure's on the island, not another ship.
There could be different treasure on the other ship, though. We could get more
Follow.
treasure.
The ship is parked on the island.
Parked?
And that's where I'm headed.
I don't think that's the word. at anchor, perhaps, Captain. He says, looking directly at Joran, at anchor is the term you're looking for.
I'm sure whatever you just said is correct.
It always is.
I will
Not a
instruct
sailor.
the bowsmen to get their boarding axes and start chipping away at the other ship to dislodge us.
Well, hold on. Let's check it for treasure at least. Come on.
I mean,
something
yeah, we can still
shiny
check it, but it's
and,
going to take
valuable.
them time for them to disconnect it.
Whoever among you is paying attention to this other ship, go ahead and make me a knowledge check, please.
Oh, I'm bad.
And you said it's foggy. Jake?
You can also roll instinct if you want.
I will roll instinct.
This is going to be a
Oh, I'd love to. Oh, no, it's a fail no matter what.
for a reason that makes sense only to me. I would like you all to roll with 2d10, except for Zach, who will roll with 1d10 because of his black spot.
I got 2 successes, 5 and a 4 under 8 for instinct.
I rolled a 10 on my knowledge check, which is a success.
Oh, nice.
Somehow.
Okay.
It doesn't add up, but I'll take it.
No Beard is more powerful than some black
So
spot.
Joran's a no. Delmar's a yes. Yes. So, Delmar, Pickle Dan, Basically, everybody but Daisy and Joran, as you are taking a look at this other ship, the deck of the other ship, you notice that this other ship is like, it looks almost identical to yours.
The unsinkable one. It didn't sink. I knew it.
In fact,
Wait a
it even
minute.
has some of the same damage that the Unsinkable 2 has.
Wait a minute. What is going on?
Oh, what a coincidence.
I don't think it's a coincidence. No beard. It's. I think he'll actually go down below to the gunnery deck. Does it look basically the same as it did? Before?
Did you cross over onto the other ship?
Yeah. He followed No beard.
Who's on the other ship? It was just the two of you?
I think so.
Must have just been the two of us.
Excellent. So in addition to noticing
The two geniuses.
Oh, yes.
in addition to noticing
an 8 on my knowledge checks.
that the ship is the same, as you step onto the deck of this ship, Pickle Dan and Scalder, and anybody looking in their direction would see this, but on the opposite side of the deck of this ship, you watch as the boards of the ship suddenly begin to undulate, and
No.
they push together, and rising up out of the floorboards, looking at first like wooden, almost like figureheads carved from wood, you see Ike No-Beard Scalder and Pickled Dan Holly rise up off the deck, and they begin to stride towards the two of you. But the way they move is, as Captain Scalder takes a step forward, he moves his body, and that leg stays behind and goes, and a new leg forms up out of the boards, and he connects to his body, and then the next one, and both of them seem to shift this way as they move towards you, stopping to stand in front of you.
Is this going to be like that stupid level in Tomb Raider? You have to fight like your clone. Shadow
As
clone.
Pickle Dan, what weaponry do you carry on your person?
He has dual hand cannons and a broken bottle of rum somewhere on his person.
And Captain Scalder, what do you got?
A sword and a pistol and a bottle of rum.
For a moment, nothing happens. And then on Pickle Dan's doppelganger's shoulder, just forming out of the shoulder and rising up, is bottles, complete with 4 cigars. Your doppelgangers look down at you, look down at themselves, and Scalder, your doppelganger, holds its hand out as the cutlass forms in its hand.
Oh, no.
And Pickle Dan, yours, holds its hands out and hand cannons form.
Ike starts to slowly take steps back and is just like, maybe we should go back to the Unsinkable 2. I think this is...
As you start to try to move backwards, your
Good
feet are
idea.
stuck to the deck.
Oh.
Maybe we should... What's...
I think...
Fall through the floorboard again? What's...
Shit.
Joran, Delmar, and Daisy, you're seeing all of this as it takes place, and we're going to turn it over to you as you realize there's weird, creepy doppelgangers on the other side, and they're approaching your other crew members, and the two of them seem to be stuck to the deck of this ship.
Holy shit. Those things look like the mug at the tavern.
Oh.
Oh, they're fucked. Well, Captain, and she looks over at Joran. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
I'm the captain! I'm the captain! Make no mistake.
Joran will just look at Daisy and say, "Get some rope," and basically I'm gonna just take some rope and I'm gonna like, seeing that they're like trying to move but they're stuck fast, I'm going to throw out a lasso, so to speak, over to them for them to grab, and then I'll start to tie, kind of wrap it around and tie it to the mast to try to pull them back.
All right, I'm gonna say this is probably going to be a force check. You're going to be using strength to try to pull your two crew up above you, where you sent some of the crew up with axes to try to hack away at where the masts were tangled. They're crawling across rat lines and across the yard arms, and you do hear from up above, "Hey, we've got a problem!" And you see at least a couple of the sailors have, where their axes have connected with the other yard arm, they seem to be stuck. And the yard arm itself has, both on top and underneath, standing, parodies of the sailors are forming. As you roll force with at least, we'll say 2 D10s.
While he's doing that and trying to secure us, can I draw my pistol and fire at Pickled Dan's doppelganger? I want to see what happens.
My beautiful face!
Well, I couldn't shoot my beautiful face.
Your face isn't that beautiful.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please.
Go ahead and take a shot. For this, I'm going to have you roll your usage die on your weapon.
Okay, so D6. A 1.
All right, so we know your weapon gets downgraded. This is going to be a control check because you're trying to you're making a called shot.
Awesome. That's my worst.
And because you downgrade on your weapon, I'm only going to give you 1 D10.
This is gonna go so bad. So control, you have to roll under the score.
Yes, control is a right side, so you have to roll under. What's your score?
It's a 3.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I'm quicker than I am calculated, which is fine. I rolled a 5, so it's a fail. You don't need to.
I think the way this fails is you level your weapon and you pull the trigger and the hammer goes.
Yep.
And there's no shot.
Just the worst. Just the worst. God.
In reaction to that, your own version of yourself is going to level independent. It's not mirroring your actions, but it's going to see what you did, cock its head, then cock its pistol. Which first, because it had drawn the sword, in its other hand, it goes, forms the pistol, cocks it, and aims it at Pickled Dan.
Wait.
I'm going to roll its usage die. It doesn't degrade. You said your control is a 3 on... Is a 3?
Yes, it is a 3.
I rolled a 1.
It has our scores.
I rolled a 1.
Oh, come on!
Pickled Dan, you're going to downgrade your health from a D10 to a D8 as you get shot, not in the face, but you get shot in the shoulder.
Oh, shit!
And it's weird because this bullet, as this ball shoots out of the gun, it brings behind it a tendril of flesh. It shoots into you, and this tendril of flesh connects you for a moment to this other version of the captain, and then the tendril of flesh snaps up against your wound and begins to creep along your body.
Oh, no.
Oh, fuck.
It's going to get in you.
Yeah, I think seeing that, if he can, he'll try to like scrabble that shit out with his bare hands. Like or maybe even the broken rum bottle, like just kind of like dig it out of his shoulder frantically.
Definitely not subtlety.
No, definitely not. Maybe force.
This is going to be force.
Force or instinct.
This is going to be force. And I'm going to give you an extra D10 because Bottles is going to use his 4 cigars to try to burn the wound too.
So I
That's
got a 3 and a 9. 9 is my number, so 1 success and then 1 black spot, I guess.
Oh.
So you do succeed with Bottle's help, but you now get to curse somebody else with a black spot.
Oh yeah, he looks at the captain, and he just glares at him and he says, "You are the worst pirate I have ever met in my entire bleeding life." And I think that's what conveys the curse over to No Beard.
Yeah. And now, is that a second, or did the other one get used? I'm trying to understand how this works.
You use so you already had it, but it affects your next die roll.
Oh, okay.
And if you hadn't rolled yet and you had 2 black spots, it would be the next successive. They don't stack; they work in sequence. Joran, how'd your rope trick work?
I got 2 successes.
Hey.
So I think this is the point where Joran is now, having thrown these ropes over the 2 of you and sort of rigged up something against the mast and creating almost like a pulley, a makeshift pulley system, yanks. And I would like Joran. No, I want Pickled Dan and Captain Scalder to each roll a D100.
What was with the air quotes around?
That was for Captain.
No,
And what this roll is for is because you succeeded in pulling them. There is a 10% chance that only their top half comes.
No.
Ooh.
What? I don't want to roll these dice.
So I need you each to roll a D100.
Oh my god. Okay.
So are we saying like if we get a 1 through a 10, it's just the top half, or is it like a 90 through 100, it's just the top half?
See, that's the thing about this system is you roll your die and then I roll the baseline.
So I got a 4.
I
Okay.
got an 88.
So on the 4, if I get a 99, no, if I get a 100 through a 9, then only your top half
You
comes.
get torn in half.
Jesus.
In fact,
What the-
this is interesting because I forgot I had this. Never mind, it's not working. I have a dice roller on this screen set up, but it's apparently not working. All right, so Pickled Dan, I rolled a 78.
Oh, thank God.
You separate from the deck and you get pulled back towards the railing and onto your own ship. Zach, what do you roll for Scalder?
I rolled an 88.
I rolled a 43. You're safe.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh god.
As the 2 of you are pulled back on deck, and Joran has pulled you back, what are Daisy and Delmar doing? That sounds like a buddy pirate movie. Daisy and Delmar on the high seas.
Ba-dum-bum, we got a jingle and everything. Daisy is I think Daisy would be I think she's gonna take her meat cleaver and she's going to use it to quickly cut some sort of rope on the ship that's going to maybe spin one of like the sail thing like around and maybe like hit some of the doppelgangers off the sailors that are trying to separate the
Oh,
two
nice.
ships.
I like that.
So she can like kind of use it as like a giant battering ram to like protect the sailors.
That's awesome.
Once again, I think that's going to be so you can choose between the 2 of these because you're trying to do a very specific action. So I would say control. However, there's an argument that this takes flair. So choose of control and flair, which one works best for you. And if they're the same, well, I guess, are you doing it with control or flair?
I'm gonna do it with flair.
All right, and I'm going to have you roll 2 dice with it because it's a cool action.
Okay. I failed both of them. I needed to roll under a 5, and I got a 7 and a 10.
As Daisy cuts this rope, cutting the wrong rope, the
Oh, no.
yard arm actually breaks loose, and instead of falling to the deck and dropping, the yard arm stays adhered to the rival ship's yard arm as these other sailors and now tendrils of the ship begin to wrap around it and pull it towards it. And it continues pulling on the ropes and other things, and you watch as from the middle of this ship, a new extra mast begins to form as it pulls in parts of your ship. Is there anything you would like to try to do, Delmar?
Pepe has turned the helm all the way to the port side, trying to put us in a circle around all of the down ships that we've created between the skeleton ship and the...
You're a long ways away from those ships. You've since sailed into the archipelago and are now in this atoll.
That's true.
And as I recall your specific orders, Delmar, you sent members of the crew to the capstan, which means they were lowering anchor.
Yeah. Thank you. So still trying to throw it all the way to the port side with going to the capstan to turn us around so that we can see better. Once doing a Crazy Ivan style turn. Once everything goes down, I'm then going to go assist Pickled Dan.
I would like you to make me usage die for the helm. So that got downgraded to a D6.
It did go down to a D6. I have right here. I rolled a 1.
It is down to a 4. As more rope snaps. In fact, where you're sort of using your hook to kind of help pull on one of the pegs snaps off and you kind of stagger backwards. And at this point, what happens is as you're all fighting against these doppelgangers and you are fighting the ship and realizing one of your mass is being absorbed by the ship, we start to see that the two ships are slowly where they collided. Your ship is being absorbed by this other ship. And as the camera moves across the deck to the stern of the other ship, the fog clears a little bit, and we see as it looks like a weird jumble of letters as we see the unsinkable 2, but then those letters begin to shift and move, and very ornate script, Fortune's Folly, appears.
Oh.
And the camera continues to move around, panning around to the bow of this ship, and where the figurehead would be, the entire front of the ship splits, and where it opens up, we see a wet maw with jagged teeth and a big grin on the front of the Fortune's Folly. As the camera pulls back, and from the fog, we just hear the screams and cries of your crew. And we don't know for sure what happens to you and how many survive, but the Unsinkable 2 is absorbed by the mimic ship, Fortune's Folly. And that is where we are going to end this game.
Wow.
That was
Damn.
You had so much going on, I just couldn't bring the maelstrom to bear on you guys when I saw where it was going.
Fair.
This was my first time running Black Hearts on Blue Seas, and I had to think for a minute, and weirdly I had Facebook open at the time. There was an ad for a 3D printing company, and they were selling prints to a mimic ship, and I went, I know what this adventure is.
Nice.
And you guys shaped it with all of the dice rolls, shaping your rival crew and your decisions. I love the flavor of every one of your characters. maybe one day there will be an unsinkable 3 out there, and maybe at least one of you survived. I don't know. I would have liked to have seen 1 or 2 of you get ripped in half in the attempt to get absorbed by this. But real quick, as we are coming up on the end here, I would like to say a huge thank you to all of these amazing players for participating in this. I would like to thank all of you in the audience for being here for this. And don't go anywhere, because in an hour, we have our final game of the extravaganza. Another game set in one of Jeremy's worlds, Caldera. I don't unfortunately remember the name of it, and I can't find it easily. Jeremy, if you want to put it in the side chat here. The Mines of Marrowstone, game mastered by none other than Matt Click, will be taking place in an hour. He has a whole group of players whose fate he will toy with. But the reason we're here celebrating 10 incredible years of gaming on YouTube, and not just gaming, we saw it in the highlight reel there, the tribute reel at break. The person who Jeremy is, somebody who is an amazing, kind individual who is incredibly creative, runs some of the best games I've ever seen of D&D, is a world builder and a leader in the gaming community. It's an honor to be a part of this, and once again, just thank you for letting me be a part of it. A huge shout out and thank you again to Kenya, Jason, Mike, Alan, and Zach, without whom this would have just been me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we are going to end this stream for now, but hopefully see you in an hour. So I'm going to end a little bit differently. May your dice always roll high and your snacks be within reach.